This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. A man who held up a Launceston business at Knifepoint late last night is tonight on the run. Police say the man entered the Caltex service station at Invermay around 9 o'clock, demanding cash before fleeing on foot.
This is the knife-wielding man police say held up the Invermay Caltex service station last night. Wearing a pulled-down red and blue beanie, the man stormed into the store before leaning over the counter demanding money from a female employee.
The staff attendant was not physically injured, but of course we can't account for the trauma.
Today, operations at the service station continued as normal. Police say the knife used was potentially a 20-centimetre paring knife. The weapon and man are yet to be located.
We've got detectives working on it this morning, and last night there was quite a number of resources thrown at it. Obviously, many police were working, they've saturated the area. Obviously, forensics have attended the scene.
The offender fled on foot. He stole an undisclosed quantity of cash and was last seen heading this way towards Elm Street. Police have also today charged a 32-year-old Glenorchy man following another alleged armed robbery at the Elwick Hotel around 2 this morning. Police claim the man produced a crowbar upon entering the gaming area and then used it to threaten staff before leaving with cash. He was located a short time later and has been remanded in custody to appear in court at a later date. No one was injured.
Robbery does constitute a serious crime, and we take it extremely seriously and do deploy a large number of resources to try and now clear it and solve it, and that will be our priority.
Anyone with information about either incident is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Monica Dadson, Southern Cross News.
16 months on from one of the state's most devastating floods, which claimed 3 lives, recovery efforts continue. A farm owned by one family since 1887 is now in the process of having its land and waterways properly protected from future floods, thanks to an $86,000 government grant.
Jeanette and Ian Mitchelson are the 4th generation to farm this land. Their son Alistair is the 5th, and the 2016 floods are an event the family says it will never forget.
I was away on holiday at the time, and I had a gentleman looking after the property for me. The flood came up so fast that he was caught, and we lost stock and fences, and so it was. That side of it was, that was hard to take.
Losing around 200 sheep and 4 hectares of nutrient-rich soil, generations in the making, Ian says has taken its toll. But he's one of 180 landowners receiving funding through the $4 million rehabilitation scheme in a bid to prevent what happened last year from occurring again.
We've had people on the ground providing technical advice, project facilitation advice, for farmers and landholders who literally were devastated by the largest flood in living memory.
In June last year, this part of the property was well and truly flooded, and it stayed that way for around 48 hours.
Works have been going since Tuesday here. Yes, they started right in this spot where the blockage was, and slowly moved upstream to clear the problem areas.
Ian and his son will take over with the rebuild in a few days' time and expect it will take the summer to complete. Today, also an opportunity to highlight the plight of farmers following last year's drought, floods and the dairy price crash.
For some farmers in Tasmania, they had all 3 of those impacts, and they're still working through trying to, get back up on their feet, and, we're standing alongside with them.
Jessie Gilmore, Southern Cross News.
There are grave concerns for a person believed to have been seriously assaulted at the Rebels Outlaw Motorcycle Clubhouse over the weekend. Tasmania Police is investigating the incident alongside Australian Federal Police.
This is the Rebels Hobart Clubhouse. It's been crawling with police since Sunday morning. Under investigation is an assault which allegedly occurred at a members-only event sometime on Saturday evening.
We've received information that allows us to believe that an assault took place.
Forensic services have spent the last 2 days examining the scene to determine what happened.
Other than it confirms in our mind that something occurred, but we don't intend to go into operational details.
Police say there has been no complaint and are yet to speak with the victim, but grave concerns are held for the well-being of the person involved.
We'd be suggesting that they take them and get appropriate attention. That's our priority first and foremost. The second is the investigation.
This weekend, 400 members of the motorcycle club from around Australia descended on Tasmania for the annual run. Most members left on the Spirit of Tasmania last night, making investigations extremely challenging.
It'll be a problematic investigation, but we'll undertake it in a professional and appropriate manner.
In another incident, 2 members were last night escorted off a flight bound for Melbourne because of behaviour towards a staff member. The men were not charged with any offence and left Hobart later in the evening. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania's 2 major political party leaders have exchanged blows in their first pre-election debate ahead of the official campaign. Fireworks ignited over water and sewerage, education and the economy as the 2 leaders put policy on the line.
The moderator over lunch before the state's 2 political heavyweights went head-to-head.
The public of Tasmania deserve to have it in black and white what both of our leaders stand for.
Blows quickly traded as debate ensued. Education the first to ignite the fire as the Premier stood firm on his higher education extension.
The Shadow Minister has said you will roll back our reforms.
No, she hasn't.
I think it's a most significant reform that is still underway but is lifting our retention attainment results.
The opposition leader not willing to let one slip, hammering the government's Taswater takeover plan for not including 3 major water and sewage projects.
The Premier's just conceded it'll be another 10 or 20 years before those projects are realised. Well, you have. You've said that it's going to take 10 years before you do that, and then it's going to be another.
Investment debated just moments after the opposition launched a commitment to open Hobart's rail corridor.
We've got Macquarie Point sitting there doing nothing right now. We've got a rail corridor sitting there doing nothing right now.
The Premier spruiking a draw of investment through a budget in the black.
We've now got modest surpluses. We are now net debt free.
Both leaders ruling out a minority government with the Greens, whose leader was left out of the discussion.
The government are going to lose seats. I would put my team up against the Premier's team any day of the week.
Getting a little sense of deja vu though, this is not the first time I've been on a stage like this in a debate like this and heard a Labor leader say that they'd do no deals with the Greens.
For those who paid a high price for the ticket, I hope the food is good because it will be a bland debate.
Choosing a winner left to the audience.
No, we still don't know properly what Labor's position is on planning. I would have liked to have heard more about planning, but yeah, I think Rebecca won the debate.
Closely fought. I thought the Premier probably came home at the end, probably in stronger rider just at the end, but Rebecca certainly held her own.
The real battle to play out in March. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
Tributes have begun to flow for the 32-year-old Dodgers ferryman killed in a tragic jet ski incident over the weekend. Tim Lawrence is being remembered as a top bloke that will be sadly missed. Friends posting their tributes on a GoFundMe page set up to help support his parents and girlfriend. So far, it's raised almost $10,000. Mr. Lawrence died while on a camping trip with his friends at Little Chinaman Bay near Marion Bay. Police believe he was riding his jet ski back to the campsite in the early hours of Sunday morning when he struck a navigation beacon. Investigations are continuing, with alcohol a potential contributing factor. A funeral will be held on Friday. The man who allegedly headbutted former Prime Minister Tony Abbott has appeared in the Hobart Magistrates Court for the first time. Astrolabe has had his charge upgraded to a federal offence, which could see him face a maximum of 10 years in jail. Louise Hedger has more.
Tony Abbott's alleged headbutter, Astrolabe, appeared here at Hobart Magistrates Court this morning. He was due to enter a plea, but instead the court heard his charges have been upgraded. While leaving court today, Mr Laab, flanked by his lawyer, didn't answer any questions from the media.
Astro, what do these new charges mean for the change of charge?
The 38-year-old's charge was initially common assault, but it is now causing harm to a Commonwealth official. It carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison, but as it is being dealt with in the Magistrates Court, he's facing a maximum of 2 years and a $25,000 fine. He's previously been vocal on the incident where he allegedly chased after the former Prime Minister and headbutted him, leaving Mr Abbott with a swollen lip. Not long after it happened, Southern Cross News spoke with the North Hobart man, and this is what he had to say.
I was thinking, there's Tony Abbott, I'm going to headbutt him. I asked to shake his hand, and I did.
Despite wearing a same-sex marriage sticker, the 38-year-old denied the alleged incident was to do with Tony Abbott's views on the issue.
I believe in human rights. It has absolutely nothing to do with marriage equality. That was just coincidental that someone had stuck a sticker on my jacket.
Mr Laab has had his bail continued and is due to reappear in court on January 18 next year.
Tasmanian Fire Service crews are working to contain a bushfire at St Helens. An advice message for Terryvale Road, Goshen, was issued just after 2 o'clock this afternoon. The fire is burning 10 kilometres west of St Helens between Argonaut Road and Wolframs Creek Road. A smoke alert is in place for St Helens, Mathina and surrounding areas. The fire response is expected to continue for a number of days. People in the Terryvale Road area can keep up to date on the TFS website and are advised to have a bushfire survival plan in place. After serving as the Burnie City Council Mayor for 3 years, Anita Dow has today formally resigned. Mrs Dow is preparing to stand as a Labor candidate in the seat of Braddon in the upcoming state election. Deputy Mayor Alwyn Boyd will assume the role of acting mayor up until the results of a by-election are declared. The time frame for the by-election is yet to be confirmed. One of the state's most iconic sporting figures will trade the cricket bat for a set of golf clubs, with former Australian opener David Boon partnering with the Salvation Army for the 4th year in a row to promote an upcoming charity golf match at Bothwell's Ratho Farm. The event raises vital funds for the Common Ground homelessness program.
Yeah, homeless people do exist in Tasmania, even though we're only a small state, and their number is far greater than what we would generally think. So if we can try and look after those people, give them another avenue in life.
The event tees off on November 3 and teams can be entered via the Salvation Army website. Keeping safe in the workplace is in the spotlight this week during a Tasmanian First Expo in Hobart. Cutting-edge products and new technology are being showcased as part of the Work Safer event.
6% reduction between 2010 and 2016 in workplace injuries. Now, there's still 7,000 workplace injuries every year in Tasmania, 7,000 too many.
The number of workshops are also taking place as the Expo continues tomorrow. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has pulled back from earlier gains to close below 5,900 points, handing back strong gains posted at the end of last week. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 13 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 78.25 US cents and 112.24 New Zealand cents.
In a bid to get the state's young footballers better prepared for life at the elite level, AFL Tasmania has brought on Irishman Ross Brosnan as its new head of strength and conditioning.
Building up that physical resiliency and making sure they don't get injured, making sure they're strong enough to go into an elite program after this academy is paramount to what I'm going to try implement here.
The S&C part of football development is that high and that strong on AFL clubs' agendas. Is not only do you have to be able to kick the ball and get the ball, you have to be able to have elite speed, elite endurance.
Brosnan recently moved down to the state after finishing up his strength and conditioning role with the Sydney Swans Academy. Cricket Tasmania has announced it won't renew Tigers Academy and Youth Pathway manager Richard Allenby's contract beyond the 2017-2018 season. In a statement, the organisation says it's grateful for Allenby's service over the past 11 years, but the decision is to ensure a significant step towards its goal to drive performance change. Cricket Tasmania wouldn't comment further on its decision. He's only 20 years old, but is quickly carving out a legacy in the fiercely competitive world of woodchopping. After most recently being crowned the Steel Timber Sports Rookie Champion, Delorain's Daniel Gurr is now hoping to beat a long-standing record set by his own father. He's not the biggest or the strongest chopper going around, but try letting that stop Daniel Gurr.
My parents actually tried to get me into other sports,
tried to steer me away from woodchopping a bit, but yeah, in the end I just didn't really like them as much, and yeah, my heart was with woodchopping.
Growing up the son of Tasmanian woodchopping legend Matthew Gurr, it didn't take long for Daniel to start carving out his own legacy. In recent years, he's claimed just about every accolade possible.
To win the Australian titles that he's won and the world title in Perth this year, and to win the Australian Rookie Championship, he's doing everything he can possibly do to advance in sport.
That recent Rookie Championship win at the Still Timber Sports event in Melbourne, earning Daniel a spot among the Chopperoo squad, bound for a training camp in Norway later this week.
A rookie has never been away with the team before, so yeah, I feel very privileged, and I think I'll learn a lot from it that'll help me in the World Rookie Championship next year.
And if Daniel claims that World Rookie title in France next May, he'll be the first Australian to ever do so.
Oh, it'd mean the world to me. It'd be an unbelievable feeling to represent your country, and not only represent them but win. It'd just be fantastic.
But there's a more immediate goal that could see him etch his name into the record books next Easter.
His goal is to win the World Tree Felon Championship in Sydney and be the youngest guy to ever win it. I won it when I was 21. He's 20 now. He got second last year.
And while it may temporarily bruise his old man's ego,
George Foster used to say, the family that chops together stops together. So, you know, I think he hasn't got much choice. He's born to it.
What better person to break a long-standing record than your own son? A 90-year-old athlete has broken a world record, shaving 37 seconds off the previous best time in the women's 3-kilometre walk. The achievement is so far the biggest highlight of the Australian Masters Games, which 5,000 athletes are currently competing in on Tasmania's northwest coast.
Setting a steady pace, determined to break a world record. New South Wales' Heather Lee is 90 years old, but that hasn't stopped her from taking on the Australian Masters Games. And today she created history, becoming the first woman over 90 to smash the 25-minute barrier.
I'm happy. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get the world record. I've done a lot of hard training, a lot of hard yakka early in the morning. So it's a bit warm for me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But never mind, I'm happy now.
Serious and not so serious athletes from across the country are in Tasmania for the Games.
I don't think age should be a barrier to anybody.
No, absolutely
no
not.
excuse.
You're never too old to try something new, and I'm doing 14 events here, so bring it on.
Some competitors are even having a shot for the very first time.
First one, I was real happy. I've done a Masters every year since 2002. I just fell in love with it. I love the camaraderie. I love meeting people that I only see once a year, catching up with them. Yeah, it's good. My wife reckons it's the best holiday she has when I'm gone.
It's a great opportunity to demonstrate that you can be involved in sport for life. Look, the highlight really is just the multitude of sports. We have 47 different sports, over 60 venues, so there's just lots of sports happening.
The Games haven't been held in the state since 1987. They'll run until Saturday. But for Heather, one world record may be enough.
Tomorrow there's a 5-kilometre, but I was saying to Josh, not sure if I'm going to do it. It's too late in the day. I've got one world record today. I might have to be satisfied with that.
Monika Dadson at Southern Cross News.
After an unbelievable career that saw him claim 4 Enduro world titles, Wynyard's Matthew Phillips has raced his last Enduro overnight in Germany. The 4-time world champion finished 4th in the series standings, with UK's Steve Holcomb claiming this year's title. Phillips announced his retirement from the World Enduro GP competition in July and will now head back home to Tasmania.
Good evening. Isn't it great to be back at work on a Monday? Hobart 20 today, Launceston the state's warmest, 25 degrees, Burnie 23, Devonport 17. The westerlies brought a few showers to the west and far south, but fine over most of the state. Friendly Beaches and Fingal 24, St Helens and Wynyard 23, Campania and Ouse 22, Grove 18, Low Head and Lyawini both 17 degrees, King Island 16, Flinders Island 15 and Strawn just 14 degrees. There is low cloud over Tasmania and parts of the mainland south. That's due to the high pressure zone which is over the Bight. The cloud band to our west stretches all the way back over Western Australia. We have southeast Queensland with a band of thundercloud over there as well. Low cloud over the west and south today before some high cloud developed over most of the state by the end of the afternoon. Tomorrow a high sits over the Tasman Sea with a trough through northeast Tasmania. A low develops over the Bight and links to a trough over WA. West to southwesterly winds at 10 to 15 knots over the west and east. Lighter inland but as strong as 15 to 20 knots over northern and southern waters. Tuesday for Hobart, may see a shower or two, 19 the top, 17 for Adventure Bay, possible shower for Tarraleah, 6 overnight, 15 the high tomorrow. Launceston a shower or two, 19 the maximum, partly cloudy for Devonport, 18 and cloudy for Bridport. Burnie, a cloudy day, 18 degrees. A shower or two for Strawn with 16 and Marrawar on 15 degrees, while for St Helens, a shower, 18 the top, 19 for Swansea, a cloudy day for Whitemark on Flinders and 18 degrees. UV moderate over the east, but high elsewhere. Midweek and cloudy with a shower over most regions. Showers over the northeast on Thursday with a light shower later over the west and south. Showers over the north and west on Friday, extending statewide in the evening. Partly cloudy in Perth tomorrow. A shower or two in Adelaide and later over Melbourne. Fine and sunny for most other parts tomorrow, with the exception of Brisbane. A early shower forecast there. And the cloudy conditions are around right now. I'd like to thank Britt and Rachel for my birthday Cheerios last night, Joe. Very nice around here. I think they all should just be like you.
You wouldn't know what to do if there was another one of me. Thank you very much, Murph, and happy birthday for yesterday. That's all from the team for now. Good night.